A sword hangs above Damocles' head, waiting to fall at any moment. He's surrounded by luxury, servants bring him food, music fills the room, everything looks perfect. But directly above his head, a sharp sword hangs, suspended from a single strand of horsehair. At any moment, it could fall. Suddenly, the luxury doesn't matter anymore. You can't enjoy the food, you can't relax, you can't think about anything except the threat above you. What if your anxiety isn't just something that happens to you? What if your brain is actually creating it? Not because something is wrong with you, but because your brain learned that anxiety keeps you safe. And over time, it may have become a habit your mind keeps repeating. Almost like an addiction. Most people think that anxiety is purely negative, a problem, something we should eliminate, but anxiety exists for a reason. For most of human history, being calm was dangerous. Imagine living thousands of years ago. You're walking through a forest. If you hear something move in the bushes, two things could happen. You ignore it and die, or you become instantly alert. Your heart races, your senses sharpen, your mind scans for danger. That feeling we call anxiety is actually a survival tool. It helped our ancestors stay alive. Those who were more vigilant were more likely to survive. Which means the anxious brain didn't disappear from evolution. It was passed down. And now we carry it. But something changed. The threats that surrounded our ancestors are mostly gone. We are rarely being hunted, rarely facing immediate physical danger. But the ancient survival system in our brain is still active. And when it can't find a real threat, it begins creating imagined ones. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I make the wrong decision? The brain keeps scanning for danger even when the danger is mostly psychological. Here's where things become strange. Anxiety doesn't just warn us about threats, it can also feel strangely comforting. Because when you are anxious, your mind is busy. It's analyzing, planning, predicting, trying to control the future. And that thinking creates the illusion that you are doing something productive, but often, you are just thinking. Overthinking. And overthinking can quietly replace action. This is something psychologists call analysis paralysis. When thinking becomes so constant that it stops us from moving forward, action is uncomfortable, action involves risks. You might fail. You might be judged. But thinking is safer. Thinking feels like preparation, so the brain keeps choosing the thing that feels safer. More thinking, more worrying, more analyzing, even when it doesn't solve the real problem. This struggle was captured centuries ago in one of the most famous characters in literature, Hamlet from the play Hamlet. Hamlet spends the entire story thinking, questioning, analyzing every possible consequence of his actions. He wonders whether he should act or wait, whether revenge is right or wrong, whether life itself is actually worth living. He thinks so much that he becomes completely paralyzed, and while he thinks, life continues moving around him. Hamlet's tragedy isn't just the events of this story. It's the fact that his mind traps him in endless reflection. He becomes stuck inside his own thoughts, something many people experience today. The difficult part is that anxiety can reinforce itself. Every time you worry about something, your brain feels like it's protecting you, preparing you, staying vigilant. So the mind learns something subtle. Worrying equals safety, which means when you try to stop worrying, your brain feels like it's lowering its guard. And that can feel uncomfortable, almost dangerous. But here's the hidden trap. Anxiety is useful when it leads to action, when it helps you respond to real threats. But when anxiety only produces more thinking, it becomes a loop, a cycle of anticipation without movement, a mind constantly scanning for problems, even when there aren't any. Your brain might not be addicted to anxiety because it likes suffering. It might be addicted to anxiety because once it helped humans survive. The system that once protected us is now being applied to problems that thinking alone cannot solve. Social fears, future uncertainty, the endless possibility of modern life. So if you feel trapped in anxious thought, it might not mean that you're weak or broken. It might simply mean that your brain is doing what it was designed to do. Search for danger. Try to protect you. Try to prepare you. The challenge is learning something our ancestors rarely needed. Not just how to detect danger, but how to recognize when there is none. And finally, allow the mind to rest.